Clerk, and those bills are set down for third reading next sitting day. Call on Government Order of the Day number 3.
Raukawa Claims Settlement Bill, third reading.
The Honourable Teriana Turia.
Tēnā koe te mana waka haere, tēnā koutou katoa. Ngā kanohi o Raukawa, I konei tēnei rā, me e rā o te wā kāinga o Raukawa, tēnā koutou katoa. Ka nui te mihi rawātu ki a koutou, ko tai mai nei ki te waka nui tēnei kaupapa o te rā, tēnā koutou. I move that the Raukawa Claims Settlement Bill be now read a third time. This time has been a long day coming for the people descended from Raukawa. This is the day the people of Raukawa have come to represent, to practice and maintain the tikanga that has been left for them to protect, to hold strong to the legacy of those who have passed on before them. It is a day to celebrate and acknowledge its significance of their custodial role to practice manawaka haere, kaitiakitanga and ahikaroa within their rohe. It's been 5 years since the deed for the co-management of the Waikato River was signed in December 2009. The Raukawa Claims Settlement Bill completes the settlement of their historical claims. It is then right to celebrate the culmination of so many aspirations and dreams woven over time, and indeed long before. This bill gives effect to the undertakings by the Crown and the Raukawa Deed of Settlement and the supplementary deed. The most significant milestone, however, is in this day marking a place to rest, to recover and restore the relationship that Raukawa has always had mai rā nō with the land and the waterways in their rohe. The bill recounts the damage and destruction that was wrought upon the people through 3 major attacks on the human spirit. The first attack was through war and confiscation. The Crown acted unjustly in sending forces into the Waikato in July 1863 and occupying the land in the region. Crown forces penetrated through the rohe of Rangiaohia, Pāterangi, and ending at Ōrākau. Approximately 250 to 300 tangata whenua defended Ōrākau Pā against 1,800 troops for 3 long days. During the war, Raukawa chief Te Pairata was killed. Over 80 of their people were slaughtered during the battle and when fleeing the Pā. The loss of prominent leadership was intensely felt. After the battle at Ōrākau, Raukawa participated in the battles of Gate Pā and Te Ranga, and the latter was known as the Bush Campaigns. Loss of life was suffered when the Crown attacked Pukehinahina and Te Ranga. Kāinga and cultivations were destroyed, forcing Raukawa to flee their homes. If the loss of life and property because of war in Raupati wasn't in itself severe, the Crown confiscated the land that Raukawa had interests in. Before the confiscation was completed, the Crown reformed Māori land legislation, leading to the introduction of the Native Land Court within the Raukawa rohe in 1866. And so the second tranche of confiscation was suffered as Raukawa land became susceptible to alienation. They successfully used legal processes to challenge the exclusion of their tūpuna Raukawa from the tūpuna of the Taupo Nui Aotea block. Raukawa sought to retain control and ownership of Māori land within Te Rohe Pōtai by opposing the construction of roads, surveys and land court hearings until the early 1880s. The third and final impact was experienced through the effect of systematic large-scale land speculation by private parties, resulting in rapid and substantial land loss in the late 19th century. 80% of land within the Waikato Basin was taken by private land speculation and the Crown before 1900. In the 20th century, the iwi lost further land through public works takings, including for hydroelectric projects. And then in 1915, the Crown gifted 20,000 acres of the Pauakani block to an iwi with no ancestral ties to that whenua, which exacerbated the grievance that Raukawa continued to feel. They were rendered virtually landless. Mr. Speaker, this is a deplorable history. Acts of injustice which led to the economic, social and cultural impoverishment of the iwi. And I want to reflect today on the leadership of George Wakatoi Rangitutia, the chair of the Raukawa board who started this latest negotiation phase of their history, and I mihi to him today. At the first reading of this bill, I said that this is a settlement bill that has been built on the vision of honouring the words of our tūpuna and building a strong foundation for our tamariki mokopuna. Me hoki wakamuri kia ahu wakamua kāneke. The future is behind us. And I cannot help but reflect too on the karanga that came across the airwaves this last Saturday night. Kua wikitoria a Mōtai Tangatarau. Mōtai Tangatarau, led by Paraone Gloin and Ngā Huia Kopa, saw Ngāti Raukawa win the Tainui Waka Kapahaka Festival in the weekend. It was perfect timing to remind us of the dignity, the determination and the courage that has allowed this iwi to emerge 150 years after the wars to become a leading player in the recent kākano forestry management regime, environmental restoration of the Waikato River and small business developments within their rohe. The settlement is not about justice. It will never compensate for the attack on Wakapapa, the loss of life, the loss of land, the destruction throughout their rohe. But it will allow the people to move forward, to utilise the settlement, to develop their own economy, to develop their people, and to restore their right to their raukawatanga. The bill enables a cultural redress package designed around their aspirations to reinvigorate their relationship with cultural sites of significance such as statutory acknowledgement of Raukawa's association with 18 areas, geothermal statutory acknowledgement of Raukawa's association with 7 geothermal resource areas, vesting of 8 conservation sites including Te Tuki, Wakakahonui and Wakamaru hydroelectric village site, and 5 other sites vested as reserves, and the assignment and alteration of geographic names. Over and over the quantum, there is a $3 million cultural fund to negotiate the sale of or access to sites of significance situated on private land within the Raukawa rohe. $5 million fund to explore commercial arrangements with Mighty River Power, and a $2 million lake bed fund. The commercial and financial redress package has been designed to contribute to the economic development of Raukawa now and for future generations, and it includes the option to purchase part of Pureora North Crown Forest licence land, the right of deferred selection to purchase 35 Crown-owned properties for up to 5 years from settlement date, a right of first refusal for a period of 171 years from settlement date, over 26 properties owned by the Crown, another 84 owned by Housing New Zealand Corporation, the Waikato District Health Board and the Crown should they be declared surplus to requirements. Mr. Speaker, there is one final point that I wish to make. Raukawa often think of themselves as the most overlapped tribe in this process today. This settlement is about having to foster relationships with Tūware Toa, Rereau, Maniapoto, Waikato Tainui, Kuroki Kahukura, Ngāti Haua, Ngāti Hinerangi, Ngaitirangi, Ngāti Ranginui, Ngāti Wakauwe, Te Arawa, Pauakani and Kauwhata. The negotiations have required leadership, integrity, respect and steadfast determination to do what was right to allow the iwi to move forward. And I think of the leadership that resides within Raukawa. Those at the negotiating table, those who have attended the hui and those who have cared for the whānau while the talks have gone on. I think about the vision your settlement represents, to keep the future behind you, to always be in pursuit of an opportunity to grow. And I know that already Raukawa has started to experience the fruits of settlement. The future is stretching out to the mokopuna to come, and all of Raukawa must continue to demonstrate the unity of purpose that has got you through to this point to build a new tomorrow that you can all share. Nā reira, ka nui te mihi kia koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
The question is that the motion be agreed to.
Mr.
The Honourable